Hello, and welcome to the final match in C4 division of season 76. We have kingsSkort against Burning Skull, and quick look at the standings. It looks weird because one player dropped out, but yeah, neither of kingsSkort nor Burning Skull played them, and they're on 8 wins and 7 wins respectively. So the winner of this match will avoid relegation, and then there are some more complicated scenarios depending on the result if people can catch up to if either of them gets to 13 wins, which I probably won't be able to explain very well. So we have Cursed Gold to open Old Witch. I think I like that. The 4. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, Raw Galley doesn't seem great because you're unlikely to collide it with Old Witch. Mountain Village, potentially good if it like lets you play your Old Witch an extra time, which can happen. Otherwise, maybe supplies. The potential downside of Mountain Village is if you get cursed, um, before you play it, but that actually won't matter for kingsSkort because they're going to have their turn 3 before Burning Skull's turn 3. So yeah, Mountain Village probably okay. Supplies also probably okay. I've missed the. Okay, Order of Masons helps slightly with lining that up, but it still seems unlikely for the positive collision case. Probably don't want another curse. Maybe just Mountain Village. We're gonna need Grove for plus buy. There's Puka for trashing. Grove sometimes has trashing. But yeah, there's good village, like Mountain Village, Royal Galley, both village. You got draw from Emissary, Puka, Old Witch, Livery. There's Fountain, so maybe you want to keep your coppers and not play with Puka, and then you can just get 3 more later in the game. Aqueduct, probably less relevant. One potential downside of supplies is it makes it less likely that you have a curse in your hand when your opponent plays Old Witch. So yeah, you maybe don't want too many. And Burning Skull goes for a Puka. So potentially they're not thinking about Fountain. Trying to have Fountain active here. They might want a Grove at some point, but I think it's probably too early for it now. Maybe just Mountain Village. kingsSkort also going for Puka. I think it's reasonable. I think it's quite a lot carrying all of your coppers when you're also dealing with estates and curses. So yeah, it seems convincing enough to me that you would have a better deck if you just get rid of them and not worry about the phantom points. Maybe more village. They do take grove. It's reasonable. You want plus buy at some point. Pretty sad not to have a copper in hand for Puka, although I'm not sure how likely it was. So yeah, I think galleying Mountain Village, or I guess you can pick up a Mountain Village and then galley the Old Witch. Might have been okay. But the curses have run out now, so you don't need to be playing Old Witch that much. This should probably be a grove, although you would also like a galley for some. Yeah, maybe a galley for some duration balance. And then you can add grove next turn. King's Cash is not amazing here, but it's kind of a lab with supplies. But yeah, it's quite expensive. Curse gold, now just a regular gold, which is pretty nice here. I think kingsSkort could benefit from an emissary potentially. Yeah. It's nice where you can set up your discard pile to an extent to have cards in it. It's a weird one. Like usually you'd obviously just put your bad cards in there, but with Mountain Village, you might want to put your good cards in your discard pile and then pick them up with Mountain Village, which is an interaction I haven't seen before. But could definitely be worthwhile, like especially if you have a gallied Mountain Village. Then you can put, some draw into your discard pile and pick it up. That's a pretty nice boon to get right here. Yeah, I feel like kingsSkort is probably winning. They did win the curse split. And apart from that, the decks are quite similar for the two players here. I wonder when you add livery. Apparently not now. Opting for King's Cash instead. No galley again for Burning Skull. That is a horrible draw. I guess you just play Puka. Yeah. And probably play. I would play the Emissary non-gallied, I would think. Because you don't really want to be playing it at the start of your turn, because then you can't get favors. Yeah, I mean, I think playing Emissary and then gallying the Old Witch would be better. They do King's Cash Supplies, which is a nice draw. Probably need another Grove, and I don't know what. The Emissary is actually going to trigger, because they've left 5. Well, they left 1 card and then put 4 horses on top, which is quite cool. Could be 2 Groves. I'm not sure if there's a chance you need 4 buys next turn. Go for Galley. Seems reasonable. Quite a nice boon. I wonder if you potentially trash a state, just because there's a small chance that Curse will get trashed by your opponent's Old Witch. But it's probably not enough of a chance to bother. There's no need to score yet. So I think 1 more Galley, 1 more Grove, and yeah, King's Cash they take with that. Pretty reasonable. The second King's Cash is adding kind of more value than the first one, because one King's Cash plays 1 treasure 3 times, but 2 King's Cashes plays 3 treasures 3 times. You definitely pick up what's it called, Emissary, with one of those, and maybe Old Witch. Probably doesn't really matter. I guess you discard the treasures. Not that it matters too much. Well, you probably want to set up the wisp. Or not. Yeah, I guess that works too. Probably play Groves before your draw, just in case you get like Wind's Gift or Mountain's Gift is another one, and I always forget what the gold one is. Sky's Gift. You can definitely think about whether you want to trash a copper for free. I probably would. There's not enough plus buy that we're gonna build back up to Fountain, particularly. But potentially it was helping them hit a price point. Like I could see gold province here. More Grove, sure. You don't really need 5 buys, but I guess you're now threatening to win next turn. This does seem pretty over, I'll be honest. Yeah, kingsSkort would be good. I think, yeah, it doesn't really matter what they take. And because I feel like kingsSkort is just not going to dud here. With Royal Galley set up and loads of horses on top. And this will be a win because they can play all their groves and empty Mountain Village supplies. Assuming they see it. They didn't see it. I know I've updated the score already, but I can leave it there. There's technically enough VP to come back with Aqueduct and Fountain, but yeah, realistically, there isn't. Yeah, very fair. We have Footpad and Sleigh and Inventor for a lot of gains. Is there trashing? No. And Village is Academy. Oh yeah, Village is Academy. Okay. Academy is amazing with Sleigh. And so yeah, Sleigh is basically like a lost city that gains 2 horses once you've got Academy, which is pretty cracked. And then you want to get all the inventors. And yeah, just win. So open. I mean, it's quite awkward because Inventor is not really helping you hit 5 for Academy, but you still surely want to open it. I don't know about Cultist. I feel like I could I could be convinced that it's skippable. It the ruins are extra bad on this board because for one they're going to draw your opponent a card. Sure you can play like Footpad after playing Cultist, but it also gives them Village from Academy. Yeah, I would for sure open Inventor, Sleigh, and neither player takes Sleigh. Burning Skull hits 5. This should be Inventor for Inventor and Academy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that is true. Slay Silver does hit 5 a lot more, but you also, I feel like whoever wins the Inventor split is probably going to win the game. So I would like to be getting on with that one. But yeah, potentially getting it later is better. We do have some cultist spam. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, I don't even know if like you need to be playing with any of the board apart from Inventor and Slay. Maybe you gain a Footpad later when the Inventors have run out or something. So we do have the Plain Cultist into Footpad and the Inventor emptying. Pretty crazy kingdom. Fawning Cavalry is quite fun. You can province, gain a cavalry, go back to your action phase, and then also trigger your map makers, potentially. I don't know how likely that is to come up. Pious Destria, also interesting. So the 2/5 kingsSkort opted to not take the free moat, which I don't know. Yeah, I think by the time you like have all the inventors and all the slays, then you can just empty a third pile. Yeah, I think this is not mint on the 5. But I would have been tempted to take a free moat. Seems okay here. Yeah, probably Bandicamp. I agree with. I mean, you don't want figurine. I wouldn't say the fours are not amazing. Bandicamp definitely better than silver. We do definitely want to get a good mint off at some point, though. And then possibly minting gold is one of the most efficient ways of adding payload. Bandicamp is sort of like a gold. But yeah, you obviously have to buy it, whereas mint can just gain you the golds. So kingsSkort does now take a free moat and a 5 copper mint. Seems reasonable, I would say. You got Destria to help you tidy up the rest of your junk. Yeah, not. I think the 2-5 is okay. It's not that bad, but then the 2-5 on the second shuffle is pretty bad. You can't mint spoils, can you? Because it's not technically in the supply. Yeah, I think I agree with the next Bender camp. Destro was also an option, but I think we just didn't really have enough money in deck, right? We only had 2 coppers, and then if we get 1 spoils, we can't hit 6 for gold, which I think we do want at some point. The plus buy is awkward. Like you can get plus buy off buying a province, kind of, because you get cavalry. Otherwise, it's figurine, which is not great. I would definitely take a Destria here and trash an estate. They go for figurine. I could be convinced by figurine. It will help you in the long term. Um, I guess they're thinking about Destria. Which they do go for. This is a pretty unfortunate hand for kingsSkort. Burning Skull still hasn't got a nice mint trash, but this could be the time for it. I wonder if you also want to trash silver. Probably not. It's not terrible in deck, but not amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of draw, so it probably won't hold you back. Burning Skull needs more Bandicam, but also needs a figurine at some point. Maybe that's happening now. Yeah. They can probably gain and play a figurine as well to get 3 buys next turn. This could be Bandit Camp double Destria. That I guess they didn't want to trash an extra copper. A bit surprising to me. And I do think you want to buy gold at some point. In terms of scoring, I don't feel like fairgrounds are amazing, but I guess the players have decent variety in the deck, so yeah, you can get them to 4 quite easily. 6 points, potentially. I don't know how worth it that will be. Ghost Town. I don't know if I like Ghost Town. I was thinking Bandicamp Gold Destria. They're keeping Estate as well, which does surprise me. Um, yeah, there are cases where you keep the Lost Estate to be 1-0. But that's pretty much always when there's no plus buy. Maybe they want to keep it for fairground reasons, but I wouldn't. You can top deck 2 horses if you play your cavalries and then Destria. And then we're gonna have only 9 money, which is not amazing, and 3 buys. So potentially just play 2 of the spoils and buy gold double Destria. You can definitely draw next turn. So yeah, you don't need to worry about keeping spoils. Like getting rid of the spoils so that they don't clog your deck. But yeah, I really feel like payload is the problem here, and Mint adding a gold every turn is quite valuable. Nice. Yeah, so they do buy what I was suggesting, but could have saved the spoils, which I feel like surely you want to do. I'm a bit confused by discards a bandit camp from the mapmaker play and a Destria. I would have done completely the opposite of that. I think it doesn't matter too much about trying to top deck horses because you're going to be playing figurines, I assume, and yeah, you're going to untop deck any horses that you do top deck. So we didn't play the cavalry, which suggests that we're trying to do some gain and play, saving the action. There's not that much gain and play potential, really. Probably just another bandit camp, I would say. Next turn for Burning Skull, potentially they could be thinking about trying to gain a gold and return to their buy phase, return to their action phase, so they can mint it next turn. But my instinct is tell me kingsSkort is slightly ahead, though they only have 2 figurines. But that's not, yeah, I don't think that's too important here. Three buys is pretty sufficient. Potentially some gain and play here as well. Let's see what that looks like. So you could take something like double bandit camp province. Single bandit camp province. I guess we're trying to take another province here then. Yeah. Makes sense, I think. I don't think there was that much threat to get piled out on if we took one more bandit camp though. And then sure we wouldn't have been able to province again, but I think that's fine. But yeah, for sure kingsSkort in a pretty good position in this game regardless. I think the early mint did help out quite a lot. And I feel like they must have got quite a lot more of the Destrias. Is the Destria split 7-3? No, not quite. I'm assuming there's no win here, but is it possible? So if we take double bandit camp, province, the bandit camp effectively costs 2 because we're going to get 3 back from it. Yeah, I think that's not going to be a win, unless there's somewhere we can buy coppers to increase our money. So 2 bandit camps, we effectively have 17 left, which we can still double province off the back of, but that leaves 1 cavalry. Do we have? I think we need to buy 3 coppers to increase the money, but we don't have enough buys for that. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. I think if we had 1 more buy, it would win. And then yeah, unfortunately you can't score really without lowering too much, unless we take fairgrounds. So what are our fairgrounds at? We got I don't think we have a moat yet as Burning Skull, but we got Ghost Town, Cavalry, No Innkeeper, Mapmaker, Destria, Mint, Figurine, Bandit Camp, No Gold, Silver, Copper, Estate, Horse, and Fairgrounds. I lost count, but okay, let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. In any case, it seems not that close to 15. But I don't know. You might need to take some. It seems kind of likely that you'll get piled out on anyway, especially if you don't take a points lead. They do go for fairgrounds. Maybe 3 fairgrounds and a moat, 2 fairgrounds, duchy, innkeeper, maybe. Yeah. No village yet, but I think there's just enough horses anyway that we're not relying on that. So if we mint figurine, I mean we don't even need the buys because cavalry doesn't cost a buy. Yeah, I mean without even counting it, it looks like it's surely a win. We've got 3 spoils. If we mint a gold, we'll have 3 golds. Which is 18, and then 4 from the figurine and coppers. Plus you can gain and play spoils from the bandit camps that you're about to buy. Yeah, seems pretty clearly there. I don't know about playing the horse now. That seems inaccurate, but probably doesn't matter. maybe they don't see the idea to get in and play the bandit camps. Interesting. Going for the figurine pile instead of cavalry. Probably still works as well, but it seems a bit counterintuitive. Does it still work? Yeah, this. Yeah, we've got 7 now, right? Um, yeah. I mean, we can win if we buy copper and cavalry. But this is all very sketchy. Oh yeah, now we have no actions. Yeah, so we're not winning. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, I mean they missed a win. Um, I'm not sure I agree with that take. They missed a win in the first game as well, but that didn't really matter because they were on like basically half VP. But no, I don't really agree with the um yeah, like being scared of missing a 3 pile is reasonable, but in this case, um yeah, you clearly have to go for it. That is very true. Yeah, yikes. That is not a good one. I put the wrong letter there. I wonder if I should just stop bothering with my scoreboard on the recording, given that there's one in the chat, but I think it's still valuable because it gets pushed down by chat messages or pushed up, whichever direction it is. But it is definitely nice having the match score. I like the new match tables a lot. Yeah, figuring crossed my mind briefly as also being low, but um, yeah, not not as easy as cavalry, which gives you the buyback. So, what do we have here? Hmm. Um, I think we want to get up to forge probably because the copper trashing otherwise is pretty terrible. But it doesn't seem super easy to do that. Um, like there's necromancer, zombie mason trashing, and there's displace, but um, I mean yeah, displace is kind of slow. The fours aren't that good, and I I don't know. I possibly underrate zombie mason, but it always just feels bad to play with, in my opinion. Um, actions are also kind of scarce here. Like there's first mate as your only village, really. Um, Players going for Fool's Gold. Fool's Gold does help you Spike Forge. Which I guess makes sense, but at the start of the game, it's kind of just a copper. It's interesting that the players are going so hard for Fool's Golds. They are okay, but there's no plus buy. So yeah, I would have expected scoring would be more like displacing gold stuff. But potentially that's too slow to set up, and so you just end up doing like a Fool's Gold single province thing. I don't know. It seems quite uninspiring. Yeah, I would believe in Forge helping to um helping to like thin out the coppers, and then you can play more display stuff easier. But yeah, I'm not convinced by that. I can imagine losing to a money deck. I would have been potentially tempted to open Barbarian on the 5-2 as well. I'm still thinking about that. Displace is okay, but yeah, there's nothing like amazing you want to turn your estates into. And I feel like the Barbarian stuff can hurt, but maybe it's too unreliable. First mate is for sure the thing that I want to be playing with, but you do need some, yeah. I don't really know what you can play with though. Like you can first mate displaces, but then you don't have any actions left. There's not really a great way of first mating cards that give plus action. That is true. First mate does work. Yeah, it's pretty fiddly to play and difficult to set up. And it might be just too slow. But I think I would want to play it. If you're playing with first mate and displace, you can use the Fool's Gold reaction as well. To gain the golds, and then doesn't matter that the Fool's Gold is no longer in your hand because you draw it back up. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably expect it to lose unless it's someone better than me playing it. Sad archive in the trash. And this Forge is not looking good either. I guess you take Province and displace it into something. I don't know what. Yeah, probably gold. I think there's no need to be taking duchy as kingsSkort. I don't know if we even want necromancer or silver particularly. You could definitely consider nothing on 4. This forge has really not worked out, which is kind of to be expected, to be fair. There's hardly any draw, and there's a lot of random stuff in the deck. Yeah, there was the discussion earlier on. I don't remember who was hating on Forge. The main reason to hate on Forge is that it's pretty bad from the 7s, but I quite like it. So 2-all, which I'm pretty sure means neither player can promote. So it's just a relegation scrap now, where yeah, kingsSkort needs 3 to stay up. Burning Skull needs 3.5, I think. Yeah. So kingsSkort going first opens cage. I definitely agree with that. This looks very much like a bridge megaturn. Yeah, I think for sure cage bridge is the open. Potentially you take another cage. For village, there's Coin of the Realm, there's Wealthy Village, although I don't think you really want the loots that badly. And then there's also trail stuff. Yeah, with the sycophant, seems quite good. Cobbler is also kind of a village, but it's a bit of a waste playing trail from your hand when you gain it. You can also cage like bridges and stuff or whatever, and then pop them when we have our big turn set up, which I think is what Maho was suggesting there. But the players don't seem to be leaning into the bridges, sadly, so we won't get to see it. Surely we cage the coppers and take a bridge. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the native village bridge megaton thing, which I've never actually seen, but I've heard about. The issue is if you're trying to do that but your opponent gets quite a few of the bridges as well. Yeah, there's less payoff if you can't hammer the provinces. No pun intended, but we do actually have hammer, and we could, in theory, hammer province. Yeah, they only caged 6 things so far. 7 for kingsSkort. I don't know what we hammer for. Trail, sure. I would have considered cobbler, although it's not amazing. But yeah, trail seems okay. I wonder if there's benefit to getting fair here. You don't super need the plus buy from it, but it might be handy in that it's like a cantrip plus buy. But I guess gold mine is the same. So yeah, probably not. Although, yeah, maybe fair is strictly better than gold mine. At least the first gold mine on this board. I'm not seeing the cobbler vision per se. I guess you mean play a bunch one turn and then next turn you have a big hand. I don't even know if CW Lemon is listening. They are. So kingsSkort setting aside a sycophant, as well as their last estate. They still have 1 copper, but that's not doing too bad. More bridge, more coin. This is definitely suggesting they're heading towards more of a megaturn. But yeah, possibly I'm just projecting my desires onto the players. Yeah, kingsSkort is surely winning, or at least in a winning position. Remains to be seen whether they will win. I don't feel like the loots are that good here. I guess they're okay, but you need to draw them. And payload wise, they're not necessarily more than bridge, but I guess you don't need village. kingsSkort decided last turn not to call their coin to play bridge, which I think makes sense. It's probably more valuable to have it on the mat than to play one extra bridge that turn. Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a lot of options for how to build, but also seems like that's like none of those particularly the direction that the players are going in. Oh, that's so funny. um, I've never seen that before, but I enjoyed that a lot. You probably want to buy cages of your own. I'm not sure how many, but you really would love to find some. I don't know what is down in those 4 cards as well, but potentially you want to buy some trails to get closer to the end of the shuffle and make it more likely to find a cage. But it seems like they're not trying to recage anything. So the decks could collapse pretty soon, or already. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, all of these cards that kingsSkort has now have missed this shuffle, but Burning Skull's shuffle now is pretty atrocious. Um, what do we do now? Because there's basically no yeah, I wonder if the messenger trick actually just completely ruins the Megaturn plan with Cage. Um, like, do we just triple and pray now? Yeah, I could see Duchy. I was thinking of puzzle boxing the silver, but I can see taking a Duchy. Um, I think the estate is not super necessary. I'd probably rather take a sycophant than estate. We do have quite a few favors already, though. Man, that was so exciting, that messenger buy. I don't think anyone else had seen that, or at least I hadn't noticed it being mentioned. And I've definitely never seen that interaction before. Uh, yeah, you definitely don't want to call coin. Province Duchy, potentially estate. I don't hate the estate now because we're not likely to get through our shuffle. you might not need the duchy in terms of Burning Skull not being able to score that many points in one turn. But I think you might as well take it. Yeah, seems pretty reasonable. Almost at half VP. Or is that half VP? What have we got left? 18. Yeah. Yeah, no one's trashed the states. So it's 43. I always forget the number. Yeah. So kingsSkort avoids demotion. And game 6 doesn't matter, I'm pretty sure, but might still be a fun one. What do we open here? I think for sure raise. I don't know what the other card is. Maybe Courier. Maybe Herb Gatherer. I don't love it though. Herb Gatherer Tiara. I don't know. I would definitely want raise. I don't think Carpenter is very good here. Leprechaun might be okay later. I guess, I don't know. Maybe you want Carpenter. Having several couriers might be okay with Hunting Party because it makes it more likely you have stuff in your discard that you want to play. But still not amazing. So yeah, raise. Yeah, raise is gonna be good for the estates. Not so good for the coppers. Probably you want to monastery them. I think we don't want crypt. Crypt seems too slow. I think Tiara later on will be good. We'll want to be tiaring platinum, and it's pretty much the only plus buy. I'm still on Team Courier. Because you might be able to play raise twice in the second shuffle, and even if you don't play it twice, as long as you find raise with a state, you're gonna trigger a shuffle anyway. Maybe that's not a good shuffle. I guess depends which turn you find it. So we skip the copper trash to get Hunting Party. Seems reasonable. Hunting Party is pretty good. I guess another hunting party on top. I don't think it would have been crazy to put courier raise on top, and then the courier could have played the hunting party from the previous turn. Probably you play hunting party before raise. But maybe you play raise before the second hunting party. Just trashing copper though. Seems pretty good. Better as an album. I don't know that album. If that is a real album. Advance raise is pretty nice. Playing a new raise. Yeah, makes sense. Hmm. I wonder about putting the estate into hand so that you can flip the deck with hunting party. I guess with Tara you're gonna have a pretty good turn anyway. And Burning Skull bought a Leprechaun. I'm trusting that they have 7 cards to play. I haven't counted. Gold. I don't like the gold buy. I really don't like the gold buy. Yeah, I mean, it's reasonably likely that you can line up gold with Tiara, but you can also gain gold from Leprechaun. And probably if they put another hunting party on top, they could have gained and played a Leprechaun using their Carpenter. Although maybe Carpenter would be terminal by then. So yeah, potentially not. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one. It definitely feels like Burning Skull is quite a long way ahead here. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Maybe it's just I'm biased based on how this turn's going and what Burning Skull's hand is. Yeah, I was thinking about Carpenter raise and then play raise with the courier, and raise could trash itself. What do we wish for? Maybe just gold. Probably just gold. Could be crypt. Is that crazy? That might be crazy. Yeah, probably just gold. Yeah, more tiara. I agree with. Another tiara. That's a lot of tiara. Raise to raise. So we are lowering, which I think makes sense to put on some power pressure. Can they win if kingsSkort doesn't score? They will have 4 tiaras, which is 7 extra buys. So 8 buys total. Plus they have the wish from last turn, which could be another tiara. So yeah, they do have the gains to win. I don't know whether they have the draw to have all of that in hand. Particularly that getting 4 tiaras in hand is quite difficult. Raise trash silver probably. Yeah. So we do get wish. I would like to wish for crypt here. Now that we have 5 coppers in hand, this is a pretty good crypt. No, unless this wins. Does this win? This doesn't look like it wins. This distinctly looks like it wins. Man, crypt was so good there. Sad. Well, it would be the same amount of money. How much money do we have? So we've spent 13. Oh yeah, it doesn't lower TRR, that's true. I've been scammed by an exciting idea. Well, regardless, I think Burning Skull's in a pretty great position in this game. But it's gone from being almost unlosable to slightly, almost, yeah, still slightly, whatever. Probably just double colony, I would guess. And then advance Leprechaun into Raise, I would say. Leprechaun doesn't seem great in deck at this point. This is close to a win. I don't know what we need to find. Platinum must do it, surely. Surely that's enough money. Yeah. Yeah, Platinum wins. They're just counting that. But yeah, 2 tiaras is +3 buys. And we comfortably have 12 for the pilot. So an exciting 3-all, which unfortunately means Burning Skull is relegated. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and see you in the next one at some point. Maybe be commentating some tier championships. Bye.